Anybody can call a product premium. There's no law against it. So when you see things online, especially pre-made bug out bags, they're labeled premium. And I see this a lot. Okay. I don't look for them. I just run into them. You can't help it after as many hours as I spend doing research and looking up stuff. You run into a lot of stuff. And it's pretty shocking about how many things, and not just individual pieces of gear that are considered premium, but kits, in particular bug out bags and things. So not all pieces of gear or kits are made the same. I mean, we know this. But I get questions sometimes that, hey, man, what about this pre-made kit? It looks like it's perfect. I don't know if there's ever been a pre-made kit that I would ever call perfect for me. Maybe it is for you, but I'd highly doubt it. Some things are very appealing when you look at them. And then when you get them, they're like not what you thought they were going to be. For example, I've seen some pre-made bug out bags before. Not from me. I don't buy that kind of stuff. The most of I've ever bought was a pre-made miniature, survival kit. And that was pretty much just an experimental purchase just to see what it was all about. And it was actually not that bad. Adventure Medical Kits made it, and it was actually something I would recommend. I have a video on it. But in terms of actually, a full-on bug-out bag or a get-home bag and all that kind of stuff, it's just so personal and so customized. You can't really just buy that. At least I've never seen, a variation that I would want on the web or in any store. But the ones that I have seen that some of my friends that were, I'm not going to, put them down, but they might be just a little lazy. They buy pre-made kits and then they wonder why they don't like them. At first they're like, yeah, I got everything I want. It was only in one purchase. I didn't have to go on Amazon and put together 100 items in the cart and have them all shipped from all around the world. And I'm like, yeah, wonderful. And then they get it and then they realize that their bug out bag is like 55 pounds. And they're not able to carry it very far, and the gear is very average in quality and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, you didn't do your research, did you? And that's what it comes down to, guys. It's just there is no shortcut for a lot of this. Your needs are going to be different than my needs because you might be living in a different area of the world. I get, questions from people who live literally all around the world. It's pretty cool. And sometimes in private messaging, they ask things that I have no clue how to solve because in my part of the world, we don't deal with those kind of problems. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really don't know how to solve some of this because I've never had to face it. So this is when you have to start digging deeper and go to like survival forums, start looking into things that will, give you some answers and maybe provide solutions. The only thing that I could tell you on a lot of levels is that I would kind of steer away from a lot of the so-called kits that are calling themselves premium. Whenever I see an actual real premium bag, they don't call it premium. And people know that it's premium because you can look at the items, in the itemized list and see that they're premium products. So it's almost like the premium, kits sell themselves because people are in the know what they're buying. But it's people who don't know what they're buying are the suckers for the premium kits. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are labeling it premium because they don't know any different. So if you see a premium kit and you look in there and it has like a $3 multi-tool and a really cheesy 99-cent poncho and a cheesy 99-cent emergency, Mylar blanket and just a really crappy gear, instead of parachute cord that's mil spec and made in the USA, you have some real cheesy, dollar store looking nylon cord that, may have a tensile strength of 30 pounds. That's not the same, man, as what you would consider products in a premium, like in a real premium bag or, actually higher quality products. Let's just look, for example, at this. If you go to any kind of like decent name brand company, okay, let's just say like Leatherman. They don't go up and down their website saying, it's a premium multi-tool. Look at this premium multi-tool. It's just known that it's good quality for the most part. And so once again, the products sell themselves. When you have to kind of like take the wrench and bear down on your the poor consumer to try to squeeze out things that really aren't inherent to that product, like it being premium, you have a lot of issues of trust. And so that's why, I mean, it's not just me, but a lot of people won't even buy a lot of their essential gear for their, their real serious survival kits online. Because they want to go in person to see it. They want to see the quality. They want to see it and feel it. And maybe after they get one in person or, experience it, that product, then they may order some duplicates online, but they have to go there to check it out. And it's the same thing with like backpacks. I mean, it's probably one of the most personal things besides clothing that you can buy in terms of prepping. It probably goes something like this. It goes clothing, backpacks, and maybe your bushcraft knife are probably like the top three. I mean, there's probably some other things in there, but man, those are some big things that are very personal and very, very specific to you. And in a lot of ways, there's like almost no way for me to kind of predict or even provide a generic version of those, because it either works or it doesn't. There's really no middle ground for a lot of that. And so people seeking a quick solution typically are going to have an increased chance of failure because they're rushing into generic products with limited lifespans, generic types of designs, inferior construction and materials. And they typically don't have warranties, and they're typically not tried and true. You know what I'm saying? Especially a lot of these Chinese things coming through, multi-tools for $3 to $5. I mean, how much wear and tear do you think you can get out of that? When most of the time the steel is probably a very low grade 400 series stainless steel. It's probably not even has the heat treat is not even probably proper. And so you got to look at all this. There's a reason why things are cheaper than others, and just because someone can slide the word premium in front of a title doesn't fix everything. And so please save your money. Please spend more time on the research part of this, because I get a lot of messages as well as, man, I bought this and I'm really upset. I have buyer's remorse. Well, I didn't buy it. You the one, you bought it. You have to slow down. Prepping is not a race. I mean, yes, it is kind of, important to have like food and water in case you have an earthquake tomorrow. I mean, there are some things you probably want to go to the grocery store like right now, like pause this video and go to the supermarket if you don't have like 3 days of food and water. I would do that. That's pretty like serious. That's like immediate level kind of stuff. But I would imagine that most people have that. And so, but if besides your immediate life sustaining stuff, you don't have to race out and do anything. And this is the thing that people get so hyped up and they get so fearful and they're like, oh, I don't have this. I don't have this. And then they just kind of like lose their minds and they make bad decisions. So let's just not do that. We can skip all the bad decision making right now and just decide on research first. Sit on it for a few weeks, man, even a few months. Wait until it goes on sale. Get stuff that you're going to be happy with, and don't buy beyond your means. So many people I know, I mean, some of them are actually my friends that have bought a lot. This is just for example. I'm just going to go talk about food for a second. A lot of survival food. I mean, freaking a lot. And then they wonder, a few years later, of what they're going to do with a full year or two of MREs, which I don't recommend you get MREs to begin with. They're not good for you. But if you are going to get some, I wouldn't get more than maybe a month or two's worth, because this is the problem you have. If you have a year or two of MREs, you're going to be eating MREs for a long time until you eat it all. Plus, you have to start early before they all expire. Because, if you wait until the 5th year and they're starting to expire, And it depends on your, your climate and your location and where you're storing them. Sometimes you can get as much as 8 years of storage, depending on certain, sources. But somewhere between 5 and 8 years is kind of the upper end of shelf life for these things. So you may actually have to start eating these things if you have, like, let's say 2 years of MREs, 2 years worth. You're gonna have to start probably on the third year after you bought these, so they don't actually go bad by the time you want to eat them. Now that's a freaking nightmare. So every time I went over to this particular friend's house that has like 2 years of MREs, guess what I got served for dinner? An MRE, and guess what we had for snacks? An MRE, and guess what he was trying to push and put in my pockets when I was leaving the house? He put little the MRE, the little packets of dried fruit and dried nuts in my pockets. Hey, you don't have enough of these. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you think you have enough MREs? And it's been an ongoing joke. He just finally finished eating all the MREs. And like it did take about, actually took like 2.5 years. And I'm like, you going to do that ever again? Nope, never going to buy MREs again. I'm like, wow, you had to learn the hard way. But you and I know, if you do simple math, how expensive it was to learn that lesson. I mean, you know that MREs are typically between $6 to $9, depending on the quality and the brand and how many you buy and all that jazz, right? You can only imagine how much he spent. I never even asked him the actual number. I can only speculate that it's probably horrendous. And then he was stuck with it. So don't get stuck with gear, even if it's called premium, just because someone says it. You have to make those decisions for yourself of what's best for you. And that's why I don't usually let other people determine what my gear is going to be. Therefore, I don't buy pre-made kits. If you have anything that you would like to add for the prepping community that comes to this channel, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I have a lot of my subscribers that private message me and they say, hey, we love your comment section. But deep down, though, to be honest with you, there is some sadness that I get because not everyone really gets that very much involved with this channel. I don't get always a lot of views per videos, but some of them do get a lot more than others. And it seems to be at different times of the week I get more surges, but whatever. But the thing that really probably bothers me the most is that the people who do enjoy the channel and they like the videos on whatever level, whatever little bit that you want to share, it does help other people. I've had people say, hey, I loved your video, but man, the comment section is where it is. That was what helped me, and it actually answered the question, and I didn't even have to ask it. And that's the cool part about this, And I'm not saying every video you watch on my channel leave a little message. No, I'm just saying that if something that really strikes you is like, okay, that's cool, I connect with that on your video, just maybe tell me why, or share a little story, or whatever you feel like this is appropriate. Because believe it or not, people really read the comment section. When I go on other channels, while I'm watching or listening to their video, I have a habit now of going down to the comment section and reading them as I, absorb their video. And sometimes I'll learn 2 and 3 times more information in the comment section than in the video. And that's what I've always been striving, because I know that I am limited, as I've said before, limited in what I can present to you. And not just in my time, but just in what I can, tell you, because I only know so much. So if you can help me along, it'd be very much appreciated to kind of share. I know there's a lot more sophisticated people in a good way. I know we just had a recent video talking about sophistication and how it can be good and bad. But simplicity, simple, very clear thinking simplicity, that kind of sophistication is what we're looking for. We want to give out good information that can last a lifetime. Thanks for your help. Thanks for joining the video. Thanks for joining the channel. My best wishes to you and your family.